Now I get to say it. Good afternoon, everybody. 710 KNUS. It's Saturday, December the 6th, 2025. Excuse my voice. Got the big boy voice. Got a big weekend coming. 46 the high today and 43 on Sunday. The fourth annual toy run goes Sunday morning to Children's Hospital. And what a great effort that is, and a tribute to Vinnie Terranova. So, with one line open, 303-696-1971, it's always been like this. You go full lines into the break, and a couple folks drop off, and a couple people come back on. If you were trying to get on at the end of last hour, you got a busy, 303-696-1971. And I get to do this, and it's almost like, perhaps it's almost a form of therapy. I thought about that during the break. But get to ask these somewhat profound questions and have the audience that's always brilliant respond. And one of them I've been toying around with is, what's going to happen to the country? And will the country fail, or will the country survive? And the 250-year birthday is next 4th of July. And I started writing down notes to myself about the country and the future of the country, and are you nervous or flat out scared of the future of the country? And then the variable questions of, what are you afraid of? What is the enemy of the nation? And what should the nation be afraid of? The biggest enemies and the biggest threats. And can there be something that could actually defeat this country? Really brilliant calls. I love them. And so let's just start again. Hey, Michael, good afternoon. You're on the show. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Pete. Nice to talk to you, and I've enjoyed your show this morning, especially the last few callers. I'm not sure the answers to your questions that I have are really going to add anything.
It's okay.
But I thought I'd give it a shot anyway. So I believe that right now, currently, the biggest threat to this country is the Democratic Party and its love of so-called democratic socialism, but is nothing more than communism. I think that's the biggest threat because states like Colorado, who are controlled by Democrats, and people in this state literally see its deterioration, choose to do nothing about it.
Let me just stop along the way. If you do regression analysis, you got to come up with why. Joseph Heller said something happened. So, Michael, we've talked many, many times about when Colorado was, but throw it out the window. So what do you think happened?
I think that we had an incredible influx of people from California who came here because of their distaste and disgust for what was going on in this state. But unfortunately, they brought their politics. So you can't have what you are running away from in California, Oregon, and Washington and bring it to a state like Colorado, but still vote the same.
The question remains. Stay away from individuals if you don't mind for a second. Stay with philosophy. If it's a threat here, then it's a threat to the country. And I have brought this up, and people have said no, it isn't. But is the mayor, the current, not seated quite yet, but mayor-elect of New York City, is he the current face of the Democratic Party of the country?
Absolutely.
I think so, too. I really do think so.
There's not a Democrat in power that will condemn him. Not one.
Well, it's fear. But, again, you could flip it the other way and say these Republicans are afraid to condemn Trump. I think the principal person, regardless, they will not get condemned. But that's, again, for another conversation. But what's going to happen to the country?
Well, the country is going to have to come to grips with, and I think the Minnesota example is a good one. Not so much with the issue of immigration, but with the issue of what's happened to the welfare state in this country. If we don't come to grips with what is going on with the stealing of money based upon a claim of assisting people with welfare, we're going to destroy ourselves. There's no question in my mind about it. Hopefully, Trump will emphasize more the welfare fraud here and less the immigration fraud. He's taking care of the immigration fraud. He's going to do what he can to get as many illegals out of this country as possible. That won't change the welfare system. People.
What? Go on. I'm sorry. Continue. I'm sorry. I interrupted.
Well, people now are used to having things for nothing. And it's even and then it's even not enough because they also now need to steal it.
Well,
so Minnesota's a perfect example where you have immigrants coming into this country by the grace of the United States, and the first thing that they do is rob it. And how do they do it? Welfare. And that's a democratic system. It has been since Lyndon Johnson. So we need to rethink that system, and we need to do something about it.
Will the country survive?
No, not if we don't change it.
What will happen? What will it look like, and where will it be?
Well, it will. You know, I haven't given that as much thought as I probably should have. But if you keep handing out money that you don't have to people who don't contribute, and by that I mean don't deserve it, you're going to run out of money. It's that simple. Yeah. I don't know when it's going to happen, but it will happen.
Do you feel yourself spiraling, my choice of words?
I don't feel myself quite spiraling, but I do feel myself changing.
All right.
For example, I'm much more afraid to live in Denver. I was born here. I was born at St. Joseph's Hospital. I'm afraid to live in this city because we are overrun with, I believe, illegal immigrants. We have no stomach to do anything about crime, at least this mayor doesn't, and that puts my family and my home in jeopardy.
What?
So,
how do you cope with, and I wrote stuff down apologizing in advance, how do you cope with the fear of the government?
Well, right now I'm thinking about what your last caller did moving to Kentucky.
Yeah.
We're looking more at Tennessee, to be honest with you. But the only way that I can cope with fear of the government is to trust currently the people that are running the government, which I do.
Oh, another question that I wrote down. Do you think you know the names, the actual names of the people who run this government?
Well, I don't know. For example, I don't know all the people under Kash Patel in the FBI.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, do you think there's a cabal? Do you think there's a veil? Do you think there's a gray eminence? Do you think there's a deep state that really does call the shots?
I do at the moment, and I think Trump's trying to get rid of it.
Okay.
And he's having a dang hard time.
They're generationally entrenched. I mean, I'm a believer. I mean, we were talking about it last week, and we were talking about the Kennedy murder, and I said, the weird thing is about scenarios like this, is I don't know the truth, but I know what the lies are. In other words, if I look at that left wall or right wall, I see the lies. When I look at the left wall, I can't plug in where the truth is, but I can tell you that's not true.
Let me give you my example.
All right.
The drug boats that were blowing up.
All right.
Okay?
We talked about that earlier.
I don't know what the truth, quote unquote, is, but I know this: those boats are carrying drugs. And I'll tell you why I know that for a fact. Because if they weren't, you don't think the Democrats would be making a big issue out of that?
Well, but they're taking it out of the hands of politics.
Okay.
As an addict, and a recovering addict, and an alcoholic, those boats are going to keep coming and keep coming and keep coming because the money is so overwhelming. And they'll come up through the land, they'll come up through the air, they'll come up in submarines, they'll come up in thunderboats. They'll get it here because there are people in this country that want it. And I have a bunch of my friends who are sober, and we talk about it, and it said, it ain't going to matter. They've allegedly 19 boats. They've sunk 19 boats. And I don't know what's on the boats. Assume it's dope. It's a drop in the bucket. They're going to get it here. They will get it here, and all it will mean, it's like the idiots that want, needle exchanges and heroin shooters. And I look at this stuff, and Michael, I'm baffled by it. I'm truly baffled by it.
And that's why I say, I think the biggest threat to this country right now, at this moment, is the Democratic Party, because those things you talked about, giving away needles and having places to shoot dope, those are all Democrat ideas.
But at the same time, I would urge people, and I've been over this a couple of times, wrote a column about it, read about the in China, and there was a rebellion that took place. They were called the Boxers, and they were actually martial arts fighters, and hence the West called them boxers. But what they were doing was they were trying to keep the opium boats out, and the British and the American opium boats. It's where FDR's grandfather made his fortune, and they were they ran drugs into China, and they did, and they brought down a dynasty. They allowed for the Japanese to invade everything that came on the back of that, and the British got Hong Kong out of it, and the Portuguese got Macau out of it, and we made fortunes, and the money was made out of India, out of the same places in Afghanistan where the heroin is grown today, where the opium is grown today, and processed and brought in. And I've told people 1,000 times, it's not lost on these Chinese. It's not, and all the Chinese do is get the dope to Mexico. It's the cartels. There's no more, the idea of what happened in Latin America, South America. It's gone. That model's gone. It's now the Norteñas and the Sureños, and those are the dope runners, and they're hooked up with the Mexicans, and they have these factories in Mexico where they build, they make the stuff. So if little Ralphie down the street didn't want to get high, that stuff would stack up on the other side of the border, and it would look like the Alps. Why? Well,
that certainly is part of the problem.
It is the problem.
It's demand in this country for illegal drugs.
It is the problem.
And I'd like to tell you I could wave a magic wand and have a solution to that, but I don't. What I do know is that you are buying those drugs with something. If you're not working, you're either stealing it or you're getting it from wealth.
Drug addicts.
So, yeah, okay.
But this city coddles drug addicts.
Yes, you're exactly right.
And tonight, because it'll probably be cold, but watch Channel 9 do a story about the poor homeless people out there, freezing to death.
Yeah, it's not bad enough.
Without telling you why that guy's sleeping in that tent or sleeping.
Well, they know why. You're right.
They don't. What so? I mean, it looks at me, or I look at it like the New York phone book. It seems to be page after page after page. I'm serious about this. And,
no, I hear you.
And so, where do you begin? Where do you take the first bite?
Well, you have to try to get people to understand that their city is deteriorating around them.
But
and if they don't start doing something different, like voting differently, it will happen. Now, am I going to be here to see it? I'm not sure.
How old are you?
78.
I'll shake your hand. Take care of yourself. Thanks. All right.
Okay.
Bye. All right, we go to Ralph in Colorado Springs. It's 14 after 12. Ralph, good afternoon. Thanks, man.
Good afternoon, Peter. Let me take you out speaker.
Thank you.
How's that?
Great.
Okay. Yeah, I think we need to step back and quit looking at trees and look at the forest. You quoted Marx, you quoted Lenin, I'll quote Mao. Political power grows out of the barrel of a gun.
Absolutely.
Precisely. And what we have missed, I think, because I lived through it and so did you, is the transition from a predominantly citizen/military to a military of some citizens. Bacevich wrote a book, one of his first books, called The New American Military. And what he pointed out is up until just after Vietnam, we depended on draftees, on citizens getting pulled into the fight. And I'll just put it this way. I'm of that generation. I was there. We didn't like it. But because we didn't like it, we were very involved. Our lives depended on it. Now that we have a professional military, what is it? 5% at the most are in the military?
But if I could,
A lot of those?
Ralph, if I could just put a curveball. What happened was when the rise of women's rights, and when the draft ended, General Hershey was the head of the draft, and they made the call to end it. But now, if you were to initiate the draft, you'd have to draft young women. You couldn't.
Sure.
You couldn't sit there and go. And the Israelis do it, and other countries do it.
So
But
do the Soviets, so do the Ukrainians.
NVA, they all did it. But the point of it is, you couldn't do it now. If you want to slap it with the way the politics are in this country, and here's Muffy and Buffy, and you're going to slap a draft number on them, you better hide and watch. It's not going to happen. And so,
Go ahead.
No,
I
you
quite
say.
agree with you.
yeah, they're not going to do it. So,
Yeah, and let me add you one more quote here, and this is from a guy named Madison, Federalist 41. The veteran legions of Rome were an overmatch for the undisciplined valor of all other nations.
Freikorps in Germany, the Guard. I mean, it's
Yes,
it's
but the rest of that quote is, nor the less true is it that the liberties of Rome
So what do
proved
you-
the final victim of her military triumphs.
so. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of?
Actually, I'm not afraid, because what happened is you look at Rome, you look at the transition from citizen soldiers to professional soldiers started under Marius. And I don't know how many, several decades later you had Caesar.
Yep.
Okay. After Caesar and after the wars of Augustus, you ended up with the Pax Romana.
Yep. The peace.
Right. The question is to survive the wars before the Pax, before the peace.
Well, but they didn't let them.
You have
They
peace
did,
under empire.
I thought they didn't let them come back either. That
I'm sorry?
they were not allowed to come back. They couldn't cross the Rubicon. They couldn't return. That
Who?
when the legions, when they were recruiting legions, and they had we would call
Oh,
them,
yes, okay. Yes, precisely. You're correct. That the legions could not come across the Rubicon
No.
into the
because
Principality of Rome.
they feared them.
Right. And the thing was that Caesar could not come back to Rome to
could not.
stand for counsel
Yep.
if he had his sword with him.
So
Therefore, he had to cross the Rubicon with his legions
Yes.
as his bodyguard
yes,
in order to become consul.
to be killed.
Eventually to be killed, but to
Yeah.
overthrow the Republic first.
Yeah, I mean it's when you real quick, and I got 30 seconds. Brutus and those guys were really heroes, were they not? When they
They were the old guard.
they stopped it.
No, they
Mm-hmm.
basically killed Caesar, but they didn't kill the idea of a professional military.
But no. But his idea of seizing power, they stopped him. They stabbed him. Right?
Yeah,
I got a break.
that lasted for what? A few days, a few weeks, a few years?
20 minutes. I love you. Talk to you. We're back after this.
Your 710 KNUS forecast is Saturday afternoon. A mix of clouds and sun with some shower activity moving through, along with gusty winds. Highs this afternoon in the upper 40s. Clear and chilly tonight, breezy, lows down to 25. Sunny on Sunday, highs in the low 40s. Weather brought to you by L&L Heating and Air Conditioning. For quick, trustworthy, and dependable service, call L&L Heating and Air Conditioning at 720-851-1691. Visit them online at bestdenverhvac.com. That's bestdenverhvac.com. You'll be comfortable with L&L. I'm day weather meteorologist Patrice Sutter in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Saturday afternoon, everyone. Isn't this the woman that? Yeah, but this is the woman. He's singing about the woman that killed John Belushi. This is the song about her. Sundown. It is a September. It is a Saturday, December the 6th. That rolls into December 2025. 710 KNUS. 46 will be the high. 43 tomorrow. Monday, 49 degrees. The toy runs tomorrow. The weather's good enough to ride motorcycles. Yeah, I think it's the song he wrote about the woman that killed John Belushi, and they called her Sundown. Snow's flying. The ski resorts are in full swing, and if you're still rocking gear from a decade ago, you're missing out. It's the time, everybody. Get ready. The only place to go, John Marriott's Larson Ski and Sport, and I've been going there for 20 years. The kids have all gone there, and my grandson now, and John and the guys have the newest inventory. Trust me, the service is incredible. They have everything you need, from top-tier performance skis and snowboards to the best jackets and apparel, and names like K2 and Rossignol and Nordica and all the great downhill. Be a downhill demon. Be a powder hound. Larson's fit you perfectly, and if you got kids or grandkids, rent those skis, because next year they're going to be too small. Forget the big box stores. You get a gouge. See the man. Larson's staff, the expertise you need, incredible value. Stop and ask for John, Jack, Paul, everybody. See them. Tell them I sent you. You'll find that big wooden building just south of I-70 on Kipling. So you're westbound on I-70. Get off on the Kipling exit. That's to the right. Come down the ramp, make a left, come under I-70. There's a tunnel. You come out the other side. You're on Kipling. Head south on the right-hand side, big wooden box store, Larson Ski and Sport. Same thing. You're coming home, something happened, you need something fixed. Get off on that ramp. It says Kipling. Stay to your right. Stay to the right. Stay to the right. Hit Kipling. Start right. Right on the right-hand side, you see a big box store. That's Larson Ski and Sport. The website is larsonsport.com. You can call them at 303-423-0654, 303-423-0654. I'm told that Greg waited the longest in Lakewood. Hey, man, thank you. Good afternoon. You're on the show.
Hey, Peter, the great one-eyed king.
The man is here. Go ahead.
Listen, I've heard you say so many times that history doesn't repeat itself, but it certainly rhymes.
It does rhyme, yes.
And if that's the case, I'm pretty optimistic about where we are and where we're going. I look back at what George Washington had to do, how many impossibles he had to overcome. And I know that you know the story of Joshua Chamberlain,
Sure.
the Maine school teacher.
Yeah.
You know the story? During the Civil War?
Yep.
Okay. So many times throughout our history, you call it destiny, you call it divine intervention, but somebody had his fingerprints all over us. Now, I know that you're not a religious man, but you have a spirituality about you. You have what I would call radical empathy.
It's a great line.
You couldn't be involved with STEP without that empathy.
Well,
But-
sure. I mean, they're human beings. We're human beings.
That's right. So I'm pretty optimistic. You know, I look at even current history. Can you imagine if that bullet were a millimeter to the left? Who would be running the country now?
Yeah, but
I mean-
imagine the bullets that have flown through history that are a million millimeter to the right, that do end right people's lives.
Look at Teddy Roosevelt. He carried it in his chest for a while,
Well,
and he was the one that brought us the Panama Canal.
but that's another story. But Garfield and Lincoln, I think the greatest American president. There's two. It's Abraham Lincoln and George Washington. Lincoln was assassinated just at the height of everything that he had accomplished, was killed.
Well, I want one more thing, one more divine intervention thing for you. Tomorrow's Pearl Harbor Day.
Yeah.
What a complete disaster it was for the Japanese nation. The two biggest targets that they were going for, a destroyer and an aircraft carrier, weren't even in there.
No, they were wrong.
Well,
The carriers were out. The battleships were in.
Right.
But
Tell me that. That's not divine.
Well, I don't know. Nimitz takes them out, and they. I mean, I don't see it. I'm sorry, I don't see it that way. There's a lot of there's a lot of things that just there's a mathematical equation to it, but.
Well, I'm pretty optimistic. I think there's enough Jack Phillips in the world that won't bow to the left.
Listen, standing up that's part of who we are.
And the uncountable numbers of people that he influenced. Do you think your basic cake maker could do that? No.
Well,
no.
I mean, I don't want to pat myself in the back because that isn't true, but I found Jack Phillips. I brought Jack Phillips to this radio station.
That's right.
And said,
I was out there every time we raised money for him.
We went 5 times for Jack. And, you know, the people have asked me about my relationship with Jack Phillips. It was really great. We disagreed on so many things, but his right to say it, his right to stand tall was what was important to me.
And wouldn't bow to the left.
That was
my hero. He's a friend of mine.
I told you, I went to Jack Phillips, introduced myself, and we took the very first remote, he's just this. He's not a very complex guy. He's a very staunch, believing. I love the guy. I mean, but I would disagree with him probably on a lot of things. But he's not a big guy, and he's standing there, and he's like, you ever see that? It's one of my favorite cartoons. It's the mouse can't talk, giving the finger to the eagle when the eagle's coming into. That's
the last great act of defiance.
That's Jack Phillips.
That's right. And here's the thing. I know that we've got some rough water, but I said a long time ago, give the AOCs, give the Crockett's, give the left people, give them the microphone. Let them expose themselves. Now, we may not win in the midterms, but we may have to hand them the wheel to the boat for them to expose themselves tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm just not. I mean, there's no predestined determination. It isn't there. There's only a certain, and I've been over this too many times, but history only has X amount of themes in the Torah, Old Testament, in Quran, in Shakespeare, Greek tragedies. That's all there is.
And it's all the same.
And brother, it's going to come out one way or another. And if it continues to do what it's doing now, history will tell us it will fail. Seriously.
Well, I still think it rhymes, man.
And I don't. I'm telling you, if you look at the rise and fall of empires, and they all rise and they all fall, and we're repeating it. Now, it doesn't mean that's what's going to happen, but if you keep doing this, that's what is going to happen. Does that make sense?
It does. But I just think our track record as a country, as a people, as a nation, I think I'm betting.
Well, the British said it. The French said it. You know, everybody said it. Well, we're the ones. Really, really.
That's right.
You know, you make plans and God laughs.
That's right.
Take care. Thank you. Good call. Thank you. We go to Jay in Castle Rock. My boy, good morning. Thanks. Good afternoon.
Good morning, Peter. How are you?
Good, man.
Good. Interesting calls and show. I think one of the defining differences between our empire, if you'll call it that, is we're the only country that I'm aware of in history that actually fights wars, lose thousands of lives, shed blood, and give the land, property, the oil, the gold back to the people.
Where?
Not many.
Where, tell me about that. Where we handed the keys. I mean, you're right about in terms of World War II.
Germany.
No, we occupied Germany, and they broke Germany up, and it wasn't only because of the force of the Soviets, but Japan's a great example.
Yeah,
but
sure.
the United States doesn't. I mean, I'm reading this stuff about all the trials now, and there weren't that many Japanese. They didn't try the emperor, and they should have.
Yeah.
But why?
Yeah.
Because it was politically astute not to.
That's right.
MacArthur's brilliant. I mean, MacArthur's, he's mad and sometimes, but Sometimes he really understood. I mean, there's a part of you goes, Douglas MacArthur knew.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
sure.
they put you. Go on. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I agree with you. I just am saying that we're not a greedy 250 to 300 million group
Boy.
of individuals to take things over and to turn like the British did. They pretty much turned the rest of the world over to slaves when
Well,
they toppled them
you know, we
throughout the years.
ask Native Americans and ask Black Africans, and
Well, yeah,
I mean,
that's right.
I mean, it's a, but nobody's clean. That's the part that troubles me the most about the need for a politically correct past. We don't have one.
Mhm.
I mean, you know, and yet your point's well taken. The need to condemn is we got to throw that away. We have to look at each other and go, you know, that crap happened. You know, come to terms with it. But it's not. The people that use political correctness to read history use it as a weapon.
Yeah, yeah.
And they'll-
Can I comment on the
Sure,
drug boats that
of
you
course,
were talking about earlier?
Of course.
We had a race camp in Punta Banda, which is in Sonata for Baja, by racing Baja, dirt
Oh
bikes.
wow! Oh wow!
For years, like 30 some years. And those boats that are loaded up with drugs have $50,000 worth of engines on the back of them.
bet.
Those motors are so expensive. And they also have something else. They carry Pelican cases like you and I would carry a pistol or some money in.
Mhm.
And each one of those cases have the cash to basically allow those drugs to go north. And so all of the payoffs are all set. So what the people that are complaining, Democrats, liberals, whatever you call them, they're upset because they know their cash is being blown up too, the payola.
I would urge you to read a book. A book is entitled Thunderboats. I read it years and years ago, and the guy that built those boats, and he was George Bush's brother's, the governor of Florida. He was his partner in a land deal, and his widow, because he was murdered, he was killed, he was blown up. She's the woman that goes on to the monkey business with that guy named Broadhurst, was the fixer, and she got the young, what the hell was her name?
Rice.
Donna Rice, and Donna Rice fixed up, and it was that always led people to look at a conspiracy to say, no, wait a minute, but he would not. The boats that he built could outrun the Coast Guard. And those were the original dope boats.
Sure. And the interesting thing about the Democrats that are speaking, the senators and congressmen now, is, they just see their big piles of cash not going to be on their chair Monday morning, because we all know that it's all about the money. And to limit it about the kids, we have younger kids. So the college and high school graduate kids and kids that have gone toy runs, my daughter's been to a toy run with you, you've met her. They're over it. They're over the drugs. They're over the lying. They're over the cheating. They want to go back to the morality, whatever that may be, of what you and I grew up with. And God bless them, because they're right. Get rid of these liars and cheats. This Minnesota thing, I hope to gosh they keep talking about that, because that is
you bet.
Perfect. What are your thoughts on that? On Minnesota?
The same thing. If Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton had not gone to Somalia and read or watch Black Hawk Down, and how they went in, and then they bring people back out of the destruction. I've tried to make this case. This young woman in the Guard who was murdered, that Afghan would have not been in this country had not been for the lies of Dick Cheney and George Bush. And they're called. There's a theory, and I think it's true. It's called unintended consequences of history, and what Bush and Cheney did, and I still think it doesn't go unmentioned. The day that Dick Cheney dies, a Muslim Ugandan from India becomes the mayor of New York.
Wow, isn't that amazing?
Think of that. I mean, I that's so powerful. That and on that day, as the heralds would say, and on that day that he's dead, this guy in the capital, it's the capital of world capitalism, Wall Street.
Sure it is.
And he stands there. There's more to that one, and I say to myself, that has so much significance. Greg, I'm telling you, man, it has Jay, it has huge significance.
Yeah.
You take care.
You too.
Thanks,
Thank you.
brother. You too, man.
Right.
Thank you, everybody. Well, why don't we do the turn and I'll come back and read the live. And don't forget, save the date, Children's Hospital Toy Run. I'm going to get out of here, do some commercials. They'll be great commercials. Head home, get your sickle, and go meet my brothers, and all's well. 46 will be the high today and 43 on Sunday. 710 KNUS Denver's talk station. You stay here. We come back with your calls and wrap it up right after this. Play it. There you go. Coming up on time, 710 KNUS Denver's talk station. Shoo. 46 the high and 43 tomorrow. Look at that. Huh? Woo. 49 on Monday. The toy run tomorrow and wrapping up the gig today. 710 KNUS Denver's talk station. Did we find a cut? You think we found a cut? When I was thinking about towards the end of the show and everything that's happened, and I'm a huge fan of the movie Easy Rider and more to come, but it was written by Terry Sutherland, who was out of his mind, Peter Fonda, who was clearly out of his mind, and Peter Fonda. And there's this moment when they get Jack Nicholson out of jail. And remember, if you remember this, and Adam found the cut. And I don't know which one of the three wrote it. I suspect it was Terry Sutherland. Play it, please. Remember that? This used to be a hell of a good country. He's a lawyer. Do you have a helmet? I got a helmet. They're playing, do you want to be a bird? And that film means more to me than. Do you ever feel? Really, and it happens all the time. You're conflicted. Somebody on the street asks you for money, a handout. People flying signs, and you want to help. There is a better way, and it's making a donation to Step Denver. So when you do the right thing for Colorado Gives Day, it's coloradogives.org/StepDenver. Every day, guys walk through the doors of step on Larimer Street in front of Coors Field, and make a commitment to sobriety work, accountability, and recover their addictions and rebuild their lives. Stories are unbelievable. I've seen it firsthand for 42 years, actually for 38 years of me, and Bob's done it back to 42 years ago. The Step Denver solution, it's proven. I can tell you, the men they serve are worthy of your support. Give, and again, Colorado Gives Day is December the 9th. September, and again, is September. I've read September that way twice. Step Denver, that's September, is counting on you and people like you to invest in men who are investing in themselves to become contributing members of our community, because Step makes real changes in people's lives. I've watched it. Every dollar you donate will be turned over 7 times, $7 worth of impact. And since they don't take government funding, Bob set that straight. Your support means so much more. Don't wait for December the 9th. Make your tax-deductible donation today. It's coloradogives.org/StepDenver. coloradogives.org/StepDenver. All right, so we're going to come up on time. Oh, we can go this. We'll go to Greeley. Hey, Jesse, you're on the show. Good afternoon. We're coming up on time.
Hey, Pete, good talking to you.
Thank you.
You are right about saying that it is sort of like a therapy for you, talking to people, because it makes you think, and sometimes they're not ready for your answers.
Yeah, no matter what.
Yeah, but like, okay, so I wanted to say, that the caller in the first hour that said that Donald Trump's gonna go to hell and stuff, and like, if he was over there in Russia talking about Putin, he would not be allowed to say anything like that.
That's the gift. But go ahead.
Yeah, okay. And then that was the one topic. The other topic is that has to do with that is like when it says, that Democrats want to become communist country, because that song that says when the government lies to the people.
Well, it's the notion of government. Is government a good thing or a bad thing? And I've used I think it's a quote from John Adams. If men were angels, we would not need government. But how much government do we need? And there are people that want, if you think about it, that's what the Marxist motto is. It's the government owns the means of production. There's no individual ownership of anything. Or is it no government at all, which is, of course, anarchy? And we know that doesn't work. So where's the middle?
Yeah, that's what we're trying to discover, the middle, where the government is trustworthy and the people are do get to check out the backgrounds of those who are running and then decide from there.
Well, yeah. I mean, but then again, seemingly, As soon as they get there, they turn the other way. I mean, I'm with you. I don't have an answer to that question, but it's a good one.
Right on, Pete. And then one more thing, when you
Sure.
always talk about like how Donald Trump said that wrestling in the front yard of the White House. So the one that I would choose to see right there in public would be Dr. Fauci against Dr. Kevorkian.
Take care of yourself.
Thank you,
Thank
too.
you. All right, Rick, you're going to come up, I think, on last call. Go ahead, my boy. You're on the clock.
Hey, nice to talk to you, Peter.
2 minutes.
I'm quick. I personally think going after the drug boats is fine, but what about going after everything here? I think we're going to implode if we don't take care of the drug problem here. What do I mean?
How do you do
Death
it?
penalty.
Oh.
Okay, I'll give you an example. You probably read about Duterte in the Philippines.
Yes.
I lived there for a couple of years.
Oh, wow.
And I saw when I saw stuff. Okay, some of the stuff you read about here, like extrajudicial killings, a lot of that was BS. I'm real close with the family there, and the son.
We got 30
Yes.
seconds. 30 seconds, brother. We'll call
Okay.
next week. Go ahead. Please.
Bottom line is, you kill the drug dealers here. You take care of business here. We're not going to have to go after the drug boats. End of story.
That's what happened in Mao's China. Thank you. They went around, and we've talked about it again and again and again. They said, we'll be back. If you're still, they call it lotus eating. If you're still a lotus eater, we're going to kill you. And they held true to it. And they eliminated that part of drug addiction. Tough answer, hard question. This was a wonderful show, everybody. Thank you all so much. Excuse my voice. Adam, you did great. Here's the music. I will see you next Saturday. And again, I got a bunch of fill-in work when Jeff and Bill take time off for the holidays. See you next weekend. Have a great day.